Seventh-day Adventists believe the Trinity just like the Catholics.
I can say to a Catholic who's my neighbor, I can say to that Catholic, this is exactly what my church teaches and believes. We have the same perspective on this issue and this understanding of the Trinity.
This was not actually true until the General Conference of 1980.
I need to clear up something that I have seen going on in our church for some time and a misunderstanding that I had some time ago. Because I always used to think that the Catholic position on the Trinity was three individuals emanating from one source. Do you understand what I'm saying? And this was what in fact, I just listened to a very well-known speaker, and I don't want to give his name for obvious reasons, but I just listened to his presentation on the Trinity, and this was his conceptualization of the Catholic theology. That Catholic people believe in three entities coming from one being or living out of one being, if you get my drift. And I've got to be honest with you, I went to the internet and I went and studied very carefully the doctrinal position of the Catholic Church. And ladies and gentlemen, that is not what they believe. That is not what they believe. Now, I'm not here to defend the Catholic position. As one who teaches Bible prophecy from the position and the perspective of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, ladies and gentlemen, have been teaching it for over 36 years, I know what I believe concerning Bible prophecy and what this church teaches and understands. Now, I'm not here to defend the Catholic position. Now, I'm not here to defend the Catholic position. And ladies and gentlemen, there are positions that I must take against anybody in regards to their position that teaches Bible prophecy from a position that is not being properly taught from the Bible. And unfortunately, there are a lot of churches that do not understand prophecy like we do today. But by the grace of God, hopefully one day they will understand it. Because I have come to the place where I accept the position of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. I did not grow up in the Seventh-day Adventist Church. I came from the outside like many of you probably did. But here's the interesting thing. On this issue of the Trinity, ladies and gentlemen, we need to be careful, and I'm going to tell you why. Well, let me read something to you, and then I'll explain the reason why. This statement here is from the official Catholic doctrine on the Trinity, ladies and gentlemen, 26 pages long. I've read most of it, but let me share something with you. Right in the beginning, the dogma of the Trinity, here's the official position of the Roman Catholic Church. And I'm not here trying to defend the Catholic Church. I'm showing you that we should not be speaking contrary to what they believe and falsely representing them. Because when you do that, whether you're a pastor or a layperson, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you what's happening. You are breaking the Ten Commandments of God, whether you know it or not. Because if you do that, you are bearing false witness against your neighbor. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to do that. And if I can find equal ground, equal footing with somebody of another religious persuasion so that I can get them, convince them to sit down with me and study Bible prophecy and say, hey, listen, we have some similarity here. And if God has opened the door for that to happen, ladies and gentlemen, why would I want to turn around and make an enemy out of that certain individual simply because I have a misunderstanding of their doctrinal position on something? I don't want to do that. I want to find commonality with people so that I can share with them the three angels' message. What do you say? And that's what I want to do as a Christian. But look at this. The Trinity is the term employed to signify the central doctrine of the Christian religion. The truth that in the unity of the Godhead there are three persons, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. These three persons being truly distinct one from another. That sounds like the statement I just read here at the beginning of this, concerning this book. Three distinct personalities, all inclusively being part of the Godhead.
I like your theme for the 2011 ASI convention. Inspired to finish strong. Inspired by God the Father. Inspired by God the Son. Inspired by God the Holy Spirit. The three persons of the Godhead in one, who are from everlasting and are everlasting.
Three distinct personalities, all inclusively being part of the Godhead, which I see more as the family name in the nature of God. Thus, in the words of the Athanasian Creed, the Father is God, the Son is God, and the Holy Spirit is God, and yet there are not three gods, but one God. In this Trinity of persons, the Son is begotten of the Father by an eternal generation. In other words, they're saying we really don't understand it. That's what they're really saying from what I'm getting from this. They go on and say, very interestingly, and the Holy Spirit proceeds by an eternal procession from the Father and the Son. Yet, notwithstanding this difference as to origin, the persons are co-eternal and co-equal, all alike are uncreated and omnipotent. Now, isn't that what we believe as Seventh-day Adventist Christians? That's what we believe, ladies and gentlemen. Now, isn't that what we believe as Seventh-day Adventist Christians? That's what we believe, ladies and gentlemen.
But I want to emphasize today that when we as Seventh-day Adventists talk about the doctrine of the Trinity, we are talking about a biblical doctrine of the Trinity, not a Catholic doctrine of the Trinity. There are significant differences between the Seventh-day Adventist view of the Godhead and the Roman Catholic view of the Godhead.
They go on to say here, this, the church teaches, is the revelation regarding God's nature, which Jesus Christ, the Son of God, came upon earth to deliver to the world, and which she, talking about the church, proposes to man as the foundation of her whole dogmatic system. That's amazing. That is amazing. And I can say to a Catholic who's my neighbor, I can say to that Catholic, this is exactly what my church teaches and believes. I can say to a Catholic who's my neighbor, I can say to that Catholic, this is exactly what my church teaches and believes. We have the same perspective on this issue and this understanding of the Trinity. But to turn around and say that Catholics believe that three entities emanating out of one being, that is not biblical. And the Catholics don't teach that or believe that themselves. You would have to show that to me and convince me by way of their doctrinal statement, ladies and gentlemen. I would have to read it here because this is their official doctrinal position. And ladies and gentlemen, like I said before, we need to make friends with these precious people. The majority of God's people are still what's out there.
Kellogg and Froome both pushed for unity in doctrine with other faiths. Dr. Kellogg has taken the position before those not of our faith that the Battle Creek Sanitarium is undenominational and has thus placed our work in a false light. He made indistinct the line of demarcation between worldlings and those who hold in trust the most solemn truth ever given to mortals. May I here make a frank personal confession? When back between 1926 and 1928, I was asked by our leaders to give a series of studies on the Holy Spirit, covering the North American Union Ministerial Institutes of 1928, I found that, aside from priceless leads found in the Spirit of Prophecy, there was practically nothing in our literature setting forth a sound biblical exposition in this tremendous field of study. There were no previous pathfinding books on the question in our literature. I was compelled to search out a score of valuable books written by men outside of our faith, those previously noted, for initial clues and suggestions, and to open up beckoning vistas to intense personal study. Having these, I went on from there, but they were decided early helps, and scores, if not hundreds, could confirm the same sobering conviction that some of these other men frequently had a deeper insight into the spiritual things of God than many of our own men then had on the Holy Spirit and the triumphant life. It was still a largely obscure theme.
Now, I have here something that's very interesting you might want to look into. You can get this from, if you go on the internet, from Rose Publishing out of California. I had to do a whole seminar this summer at camp meeting. We had approximately 10,000 people at our camp meeting in British Columbia this year. And I just want to encourage you, you might want to look into this. It's called The Trinity. If you go to Rose Publishing, it folds out like this. And ladies and gentlemen, I've got to tell you something. For the most part, everything that I've read in here is exactly what we believe as Seventh-day Adventist Christians. And this was produced by evangelical scholars in the consideration of the Trinity. And you can order this and you can get this. And you will find some tremendous historical information that is absolutely accurate. People want to claim that the Catholic Church is the institution that is guilty for bringing this teaching of the Trinity. Ladies and gentlemen, the Trinity teaching came long before the Catholic Church became an officially recognized institution.
The Trinity is the cornerstone of the Revelation 13 verses 11 through 18 ecumenical movement.